Welcome to Fit Chicks Chat, the podcast dedicated to fitness, nutrition, wellness, and mindset. For more information on Fit Chicks Academy and our upcoming fitness and nutrition expert certification, as well as our holistic nutrition weight loss coaching certifications, please visit fitchicksacademy.com. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy today's episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fit Chicks Chat, the podcast dedicated to fitness, nutrition, and wellness for health coaches and aspiring coaches. Today's episode, we're talking about our 5 fitness and health hacks that you've probably never tried that actually work. So these are for aspiring coaches and people who just love health and wellness, and you want to think a little bit differently about health or about your coaching opportunities. So, let's be real. Like, we've all heard the same advice on repeat when it comes to health, right? Move more, eat clean, get your steps in, and all those things matter. Don't get me wrong. But there are other less talked about strategies that are surprisingly super powerful when it comes to overall health and well-being, and the kind of things that'll actually help move the needle in a big way. But not a lot of people talk about them or teach them. We do talk about it in our certification programs at Fit Chicks Academy, where we do teach a lot of like the wellness components in our fitness and nutrition expert certification, as well as our holistic nutrition weight loss coaching certification, which, by the way, are both opening up for our summer fast track programs. So you can check them out at fitchicksacademy.com. But these are strategies and different things so that we're looking at the whole package. So we're looking at everything as a whole and in a holistic manner, not just looking at one part, which is movement, or one part, which is nutrition, or one part, which is weight loss strategies. We're looking at everything as a whole. Everything matters. All parts are equal. And so today, what I'm going to break down are 5 underrated fitness and health hacks that are backed by science, that are practical in everyday life, but can be incredibly effective for building momentum and lasting results. So these are things that you can either, incorporate into your own life. If you're someone who's an aspiring coach or you are a coach, these are really great tools and opportunities for you to explore different things with your clients and just try different strategies that maybe they've never heard of either. So let's start out. So the very first thing is our 5-minute rule for movement. So what this is the idea to just commit to 5 minutes of exercise, 5 minutes of movement. That's it. And if after 5 minutes you still don't feel like continuing, then you can stop. But most people want to keep going. The reason why we call it the 5-minute rule is that oftentimes people have a lot of resistance because they think, I can't get my workout in. I don't want to do my workout because I don't have the time. There's resistance around movement because it feels overwhelming. It feels really daunting to think I have to go and work out for an hour or I have to go work out for 2 hours. But oftentimes when we just start to move our body, when we actually begin a process, our brains want to finish. Also, what happens when we start doing that 5 minutes, it starts to build momentum and energy, and it reinforces consistency and trust in yourself. This is such a big one. When we look at a workout, right? So either as a coach or an aspiring coach or even someone on your own schedule, when you look at a schedule or you look at an opportunity for movement and you think, I'm going to go do a workout for 45 minutes every single day. And if you don't do that workout one day, what it does is it breaks the consistency, and it also breaks that personal trust that you have with yourself that you're actually going to complete it. When it's 5 minutes, it becomes something that seems so much more manageable. So when we actually complete it, then we start trusting ourselves and trusting the process a lot easier. So the 5-minute rule is just a way, especially if you're someone who's an aspiring coach or you have clients who are just starting out on their health journey, it's an amazing way to get the ability to start building that momentum, but also to start getting away from resistance and start moving into consistency. This is one of the things that allows for so many people to get their workouts in. And, I remember even when I, right after I had my child, I was like, I can't commit to going to the gym and I can't commit to doing big, long workouts. And so I was like, how can I do this? And I started just doing 5-minute workouts. And I would just sprinkle them in throughout the day. It was just like small bursts of movement. But usually, if my baby was sleeping or things like that, that 5 minutes would turn into 10 or 15 even. And I would keep moving because it wasn't that I didn't want to do the workout. It was just that I didn't want to try to figure out how to fit in an hour or 40 minutes or something like that into my lifestyle. So the 5-minute rule is such a great rule to at least begin to start building the habit and get the process in place. Now, the second hack that I want to talk about is how to train your nervous system, not just your muscles. So what's really important about this, and there's a lot of conversation that's happening more so now than ever before around this, which is understanding that our nervous system will be affected like in day-to-day life, right? Where our nervous system is heightened. Oftentimes we are much more stressed in day-to-day life right now. We are running a mile a minute. We are doing 20 different things throughout a day. Like we're wearing 20 different hats and all these things. And so when we are learning to train our nervous system, we're learning to just lower our stress levels, calm down our central nervous system. And we can do this by things like incorporating breath work, cold exposure. We've heard of people doing like those ice baths and things like that. You could do grounding exercises. These are all really, really great tools as well that help improve fat loss, digestion, sleep, and mental health. So why it works is that when we're doing and training our nervous system over just training our muscles, we are regulating our cortisol. Our cortisol is something that is basically the hormone that gets spiked when we are stressed. We're learning to regulate it by using natural resources and remedies to do so. It also enhances digestion and hormonal balance. It improves cravings, emotional regulation. It supports fat burning and recovery. We're so focused on a day-to-day basis on grinding in the gym or going and getting those like hour-long cardio sessions in or all these things. But our nervous system controls everything. Our nervous system is like the main operator of our bodies, right? So when it's dysregulated, it doesn't matter how clean you eat, and it doesn't matter how much you work out, your body is not going to respond the way that you think it will. So that's why things like deep breathing exercises and grounding in nature can be like this missing link, or it can be this like added piece. I always think of these kinds of things as like the glue that sticks it all together. So you're eating healthy, you're moving your body every day, but by training and looking at the wellness side, and then also training our nervous system, lowering our cortisol levels, and really looking at the day-to-day lifestyle and giving ourselves little tools to be able to calm down our central nervous system slightly. This is what like glues it all together and brings it back to this grounded sort of state. So by teaching you this and by giving your clients these tools, it's going to give you a major edge because most programs don't touch on this, right? They're looking at just the fitness and the nutrition side. They're not looking at everything, but it's so effective, especially if people are dealing with hormonal issues or stress issues. So I highly, highly recommend if you are a coach, an aspiring coach, or someone who is dealing with high cortisol levels or hormonal imbalances, look into maybe some breathwork techniques. There's really great, like I like box breathing, which is, we've done an episode previously with Marie Barker, and we did this whole thing about box breathing. And so she teaches it. So if you're ever curious, you can just like search in FitChicks chat for that episode. But you can also do like grounding, which means like, going out and like really like taking off your shoes and getting grounded with earth and like being in nature and taking deep breaths and really just taking in the energetic state of earth and like letting go, right? It's like about release and pulling in. So there's so many different things that you can do, but these are just some tools. So I highly, highly recommend if you are someone who's an aspiring coach, a coach, or someone who's dealing with this, dive a little deeper into these and just see how life-changing this could actually be for you or for your client. Now, the third hack that oftentimes is not talked about that I want to talk about today is something that we like to call at FitChicks Academy called snack workouts. So snack exercises or exercise snacks is essentially just small bursts of movement spread throughout the day. I love this. I live by this. And this is things like doing squats while your coffee's brewing, doing lunges to the bathroom, doing some core stuff on your chair while you're waiting for a meeting to begin. There are so many different little things that you can do, but every little thing adds up. One of the core foundations of FitChicks Academy that we believe in, as Laura and myself are the co-founders of the company, is the idea that small shifts equals big results. So every single day, if you're doing small shifts towards overall health and well-being, it will be equivalent to big results. It will help boost your metabolism. It'll help improve insulin sensitivity and energy. It'll make it easier for you to stay consistent by adding in these little snacks in between of exercises. It allows for you to fit it into your day-to-day more easily, right? So rather than trying to, again, think about how am I going to get to the gym for an hour, if all day long you were just throwing in some squats, you were doing some push-ups, you were doing, an extra walk around the block before you go into the building, things like that. All of these little things matter. I recently read an article that was talking about if you do 10 squats, and I can't remember where to reference it from, but I read it somewhere and it said, if you do 10 squats, bodyweight squats, every hour throughout a workday, it's equivalent to going for a 30-minute run. Something along those lines where in terms of like the balancing of hormones as well as insulin, I wish I could find that article. If I do, I'll reference it in the notes. But this is just such a great way. And it's kind of like if you are dealing with a client or you or someone who is dealing with a really hectic schedule, these snack workouts have just helped so many people, including myself, really feel like you're winning at the day and with carving out little bits of time as opposed to trying to carve out a big period of time. And science supports that it is just as effective, sometimes even more so for fat loss and metabolic health, to do these snack exercises versus just doing 45 minutes straight of a workout. It is equivalent to the same. Now, the fourth hack that I wanted to share with you is basically teaching our body how to, follow our workouts according to our natural rhythms. So light equals cortisol, melatonin, for optimized hormones, response, recovery. We're going to be looking at it and looking at how we can sync our workouts according to our rhythms. So things like in the mornings, looking at high cortisol, right? So higher cortisol in the mornings, the best thing you can do is fasted walks, do mobility work so that you're not increasing your cortisol levels. Afternoon, this is when you want to do strength. You want to do, your body temperature is at its highest during the afternoon. So this is best for like heavy lifting, cardiovascular workouts. Afternoons are really great for that. And then in the evenings, it's proven that in evening, it's about supporting melatonin and sleep, right? Trying to get your body to just go into that rest and recovery mode. So things like restorative yoga or gentle movement are ideal. When you think about it and you think about the different rhythms throughout our day and really aligning our body and our workouts according to those rhythms, this is such a great tool. So if you are planning for a client and you're saying, okay, in the morning, all I want you to do is go for a walk. Just wake up your body or do some mobility work, right? Do some Qigong energy work, do something along those lines. In the afternoon is where we're going to really go in on our workouts. And then in the evenings, now I know this doesn't work for everybody's schedules, obviously, but where possible and if possible, they say that this is some of the best ways that you can actually allow for your body to be aligned with the rhythms of your day. And it can be a real game changer, especially for women who are in perimenopause or with hormonal challenges, when you are timing your workouts to the actual rhythm of the day and the rhythm of your body. So something to really think about if you are coaching clients that are dealing with any kind of like disruption, especially hormonally. And then the final hack that I wanted to share with you today is about coach mode journaling. And so coach mode journaling is about writing to yourself as if you were coaching a client yourself. You are your own coach. You are your best coach, and you can also be your best client. So I want you to ask yourself questions like, what advice would I give my best friend right now? What's really going on here? What would my future me thank me for today? What have I done today to be able to move me towards the goal that I want? I want you to start journaling about those things. Don't just talk about what you did in a day, but really dive deeper into the understanding of how this is affecting your overall future self, how you should support yourself, being kinder to yourself during the process. What this is going to do is it's going to develop emotional awareness. It helps build your confidence. It helps shift your identity from, going from someone who is like, I'm learning this process to becoming someone who is, I'm leading my own process. And it creates clarity and inner support for yourself, right? Because then you become more confident with your skills, your abilities, and yourself as a leader on your own journey. One of the things at Fit Chicks Academy that we always say, and our students always laugh about it, but it's so true, is that we truly want our clients to fire us, right? we want them to, as a heart-centered health coach, I want to be able to coach my clients in a way that I am giving them all of the tools necessary that eventually they can fire me as their coach, that they can lead their own health journey. That is when I know that I've won as a coach, right? That is winning for me, because that allows for me to know that the impact is not just about the 8-week program or the 4-week program or the 12-week program, but instead it's a life-changing opportunity that we've gifted to our clients, right? That they have taken on this role of leading their own health journey. And so I really want you to think about, how can you help guide yourself or your clients through that? And you can do that by allowing them to really step into the idea of coaching themselves through journaling, through having the conversation with themselves about what it is that they can actually start to move towards. This is such a powerful step. And when you start coaching from within and that voice becomes the foundation of how you want to lead others, that's when you can also step into that leadership role even more, right? Once you lead yourself, you're then ready to lead others. And so I really, really hope these were helpful for you today. These 5 fitness and health hacks, again, they might be simple. They might be something that you've heard a little bit about, but they're incredibly effective. And the best part is you don't need any fancy equipment. You don't need a perfect routine. Nothing has to be perfect. You just need to be curious. You need to be intentional about what you're doing, and you need to have a desire to try something different. Especially if you've been doing the same routine over and over and over again, it's a really great opportunity to just incorporate something that might be brand new, to create excitement, to create some freshness to your routine. Also, to really just see, is this the missing link? So again, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Fit Chicks Chat. We will see you again next week on Fit Chicks Chat. And of course, if you are interested in getting started as a coach, if you are ready to dive deeper into your education, into tools, learning, and becoming a leader in your community, in your own health, in your life, make sure you check out fitchicksacademy.com. That's where you can learn more about all of our certification programs that are open right now for our summer enrollment programs. We have our summer fast tracks. They are ready, and it allows for you to be able to move through the programs as quickly as you would like, with the full support of our success coaching team. So check it out, fitchicksacademy.com. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. And we will see you again next week on Fit Chicks Chat. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Fit Chicks Chat podcast. Want more healthy love? Visit www.fitchicks.com for amazing resources, free workouts, recipes, tips, and so much more to help you live your healthiest and fiercest life, inside and out.